I will never use chat room again. A true horror story. This story happened about 10 years ago. At the time, I was a boy in middle school, probably 8th grade. I remember one day after school, I went on my computer that was in my room and joined some online chat room. I would play around on chat rooms from time to time, usually with my friends, but I was just bored after school this time. I remember chatting with some random people for a while, and then I started talking to a girl that said she was in high school, and she seemed pretty nice. I stopped joking around and had a pretty normal conversation with her. I asked her where she lived, and we happened to live in the same state. Then she told me that she lived in a town that was not too far away from mine. I thought this was a nice coincidence. We talked for a while, and then she told me to start messaging with her on Kik. Kik was a popular messaging app back then, so of course I had one. You could have a profile on Kik with a picture, so I was curious to see what the girl looked like. We switched our conversation to Kik, and I saw by her profile picture that she looked pretty good. We talked on there for about a week. I was excited that a good-looking older girl seemed to be into me. I asked her for her Snapchat, but she said she didn't have one. This didn't seem weird at all to me back then, because those were the early days of Snapchat, and I had only just made one a couple of months before. Eventually, the girl said that we should hang out. Of course, I couldn't drive because I was just 13, but she told me she had just turned 16 and got her license. I told her to come over on Friday after school, and I gave her my address. She agreed. When Friday came around, I was pretty excited. I got home from school and immediately messaged her, but when I did, she didn't respond. I waited and waited, but there was still no response. After a while, I grew impatient and realized she must have decided not to come. Then later that night, I looked on Kik again and saw that her account was gone. I was confused and a little disappointed. I figured she blocked me or something, but I wasn't all that mad because I thought the whole time that it just felt a little bit weird. I wasn't completely sure if she was even real or not, so I decided to just forget the whole thing. But a few days later, during the next week, out of nowhere I got a message from her again. She said she was sorry that she couldn't make it, but something came up. At this point, I was pretty much over her, so I just said it's fine, don't worry about it. She sent a smile face back, and I didn't respond. I wasn't really interested to see if she would say anything else, so I turned off notifications for the Kik app. When I came home from school that day, I got into my room and noticed that my window was open. I always kept it shut, so I figured one of my parents opened it for some reason, and I closed it. I did some homework and then played video games for the rest of the night. Then, at about 11, I went to bed. As I lay down and closed my eyes, for some reason I just got curious to see if that girl ever responded to me. I guess it just bothered me how her account was completely gone and then back again. I got my phone from my nightstand and opened the Kik app. I saw that I had about 5 messages, all from the same girl. As I read them, I started to get the chills.